had dark reddish cloudy sky, but it was the music that creeped me out the most. It sounded like the Geiger theme right after Pokey in Earthbound. I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid just like Tails did, but not as much. Or rather, he looked like a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall just like Tails did, and looked as if he wasn't sure what was going on. But I made him move anyways, because I was just an idiot. He ran down the straight pathway into this dark level. As he did, with the screen started to flicker, a red static a couple times, and then that maddening laugh came again. Then, after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a sense of fear again, thinking something horrible was going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road behind me, but I still kept on going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with black eyes, and then the red static appeared again, which static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with text saying, "Found you," in a Arab accent. I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? Was he part of the Al-Qaeda? We don't know. Anyways, red static came again, and I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. At this time, high-pitched squealing from Silent Hill's one Final Bass was playing. Was it some kind of a bass battle with Sonic? I hope God it was not, honestly. Suddenly, Sonic appeared right in front of Knuckles, and it appeared to be pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn, and then I made Knuckles turn and then punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. A terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles again, and I made him punch again. Sonic vanished again, laughing. Knuckles was panicking even more, and I felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees and clutched his head, sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. Ooh, gee, scary. And in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles, and the screen went black with another sword screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Another text message appeared. "So many souls to play with. So little time. Would you agree, Duke Nukem?" What the hell? My name isn't even Duke Nukem. That was my friend's name. I started to think Sonic was just being an idiot, because my name's not. My name isn't Duke Nukem. My name is Potato Head Bobby. Anyways, I was brought back to the main menu, and this time, the second file box had Knuckles in the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to reddish gray. His dreadlocks were dripping with blood because he was a girl, and his eyes were black and bleeding too. He had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those are actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. So I shut off the game and took a break. I took a nap, and then 200 years later, on the 400th anniversary of the United States, I was in pitch black darkness, and then I turned the game on again. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us," and "Why do you give us to him?" and "Run away before we get to you." The cries died out as then I heard Sonic laugh. His laugh sounded a lot like the distorted Kefka laugh. "You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Duke Nukem, though he didn't last long." I was scared and looking around the source of the voice. "Won't be long now till you join him and all my other friends." I saw him walking toward me, flickering out in several directions. "You can't run now, kid. You're in my world, just like the others." When he grabbed me, and I saw his bleeding black and red-eyed grinning face, I woke up with a fright. After a couple of decades, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why. I had to know. I had to figure out what was happening, so I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that was wacky. Playing as Robotnik, but anyways, the level title appeared again, and this time it said ellipses, which I found really very vague and sexual. This time, I was in some kind of a hallway. It didn't really look like it was any kind of classic Sonic game, though it had the pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered, There's a dark grayish purple with animated candlelights and a few dark bloodstains here and there. And a dark red curtain hanging above over the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, the red curtain sways very slowly. But whenever you're playing, you can barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant. Piano playing a rather sad yet beautiful song from Mozart, but I knew better. This song was in fact not Mozart. It was Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knackles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face as he was just a bit paranoid. He had a little animation when I just left him sitting. He turns his head to the left and then to the right, and at least twice went, and then shrugs at me, as if he has no idea when he was or what he was going on. What was going on? Even though I was scared out of my mind, about what was about to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation, when he's really fat and stuff. And we continued going through the hallway. Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself. So I pressed onward. As I left Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls had gotten darker and more reddish. Red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed on another hallway. This one was longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it. And then we headed down another flight of stairs. This one much longer, took at least 1 full minute. And then I heard the horrid Kefka laugh. And then the music slowly faded till it was quiet. As did the walls turn to more dark red and the torches were a black flame now. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, I noticed he looked really freaked out. Though he tried to hide it, I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sanic popped right in front of Robotnik, and the same way Knackles did and then red static. The red static lasted for about 15 seconds, and then showed me the most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyper-realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness where you can only see his face while his head and torso faded into black. And when I say hyper-realistic, I mean he looked so real. You could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. His face, oh God, had the most horrifying smile I've ever seen. Without saying something considered, I saw the image at the start of the game. His eyes are wide black and once again crying blood, which was also hyper-realistic. There were 2 small glowing red dots in those black eyes staring right at me, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic with fangs. Very sharp fangs, much like Werehog's teeth, except more vicious looking. Somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood, small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs as if he ate some animal. I stared at the gruesome image for a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off it. And I felt as it was actually looking and smiling at my face. It just took 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. Then the screen flickered with red static again 3 times. On the 3rd time I heard the Kefka laugh, except this time it was destroyed demonic even. I went back to the image again, except this time there was a text again, though it was messed up. But it was pretty good. Pretty much one of the most horrifying things I've looked at this game. I am God. It was when I read that message that while looking at Sonic when it hit me, I realized right there and then, this Sonic was a monster. Pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster. And all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and possibly Duke Nukem, or just his little toys. And the game is very gateway into this chaotic, nightmarish world. The very hell his victims are trapped in. Suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open at an unnatural length, revealing nothing but literally spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again. This time much louder and distorted. So loud it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. Although, I had to admit, it was better than Miley Cyrus's new mixtape. But then it stopped and showed nothing but black screen. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last text came up. Ready for round 2, Duke Nukem. Kefka laughed, now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me. Like it 3 times. As I looked at the text in shock and confusion. And I booted back to the main menu, and this time the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray, his mustache dropped head, and I blackened, his glass broke and blood is coming from him. He had mere dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik and cried a bit. I pitied their agony they're going through. They were forever trapped within this game, forever tormented by horrid hedgehog. I will always be. Then the computer shuts off, and I couldn't turn it back no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified at what had just happened. Sanic is the very embodiment of evil. Tortures people who play his game in more ways than one. Then, you're bored, he drugs you into the game, literally drugs you into hell, and then he plays a few, always with his syringes. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there, but at least I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom. I turned around to see the voice came from, and I saw what made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic dildo, smiling with bloodstains under its eyes. So, Alex, what do you think of that? Pretty
Wow, now I see why it got demoted from a creepypasta to a troll pasta.
Yeah, it's like back then this stuff was so like, oh my god, and now it's shit.
Oh my god, that is crappy.
Especially with the Duke Nukem and the Sanic dildo.
I can tell that you implemented so much stuff in that to make it original, and that was awesome.
Yeah, it was Duke Nukem, the haunting of Duke Nukem by the Sanic dildo.
So anyways, I would rate that out like 10 out of 100 Sega Genesis.
I rate that 1 out of 16 pizza pies.
Alright, so, in other words, it was shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you want us to read any creepypastas that you have, please comment them in the description below. I mean, in the comment section below.
God damn it, George.
Alright. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.